Okay guys, this is 12.1, the Pythagorean Theorem, and that's your standard to be able to prove the Pythagorean Theorem and use it to solve problems is your objective, unless always with at least 8% accuracy given independent practice. The legs are the two sides of a right triangle that form the right angle. So this right here, this right here, this. Those are the right. Those are the legs. Hypotenuse is the side opposite to the right angle. So this is your right angle. It's always opposite to it. So this right here, that right there, and it's always the longest in the right triangle. Pythagorean theorem tells us that in the right triangle, the sum of the legs square equals the c square. Okay, the square of the hypotenuse. So the square of the legs, when you add them together, that equals the square of the hypotenuse. And this is how you write it: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Wait, this is your a, this is your b, and that's your c. Again, leg hypotenuse, a, b, and c. And so the steps to do it is you're gonna just copy this down, substitute in what you know to solve the unknown. So let's look at this one. I'm gonna write a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Do I know my a? Yes, I do. That's 4. So I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna write a 4 there. B, do I know my b? Yes, that's 3. So I'm gonna erase. I'm gonna write my 3. Do I know my c? No, that's what I'm looking for. And then I'm gonna square this. 4 squared is 16, because that means 4 times 4. 3 squared is 9, and then I have c squared. Leave it like that. I do this, that's 25 equals c squared. The opposite of squares is square root. So when I do to one side, I do to the other side. And then this is saying one number multiplied by itself gives me 25, and the answer is 5. So in this case, c is 5. Okay? Let me go ahead and give you one. Let me go ahead and do this one, and then I'll give you one to do. Okay, so again, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is 7. B is 9, C I don't know. So that's 49 plus 81 equals c squared. So that would be 130. That is not a perfect square, I know that for sure. So I'm going to square root that. And so you can either, sometimes you can just leave it like that. Or if you're going to punch it in your calculator. So again, you can just leave it like that. You can punch in your calculator where you can do a square root of 130, and it is about 11.4, and it's again approximately, okay? And so that will be my answer for that one. Let me go ahead and give you one to do. Okay, go ahead and find the c for me in this one. Okay, I'm gonna do one more with you so you can see how it works when you have your hypotenuse and know one of the legs. So again, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I don't know my a, so I leave it alone. I know my b, so that's 10. And then I know my c, which is 12. So that's a squared plus 100 equals 144. I have to isolate my a, so I have to do inverse operation here. So I subtract 100. What I do is to one side, do to the other side. And then I get a squared equals 44. Square root. I can either leave it like that if they permit me to, or I can punch it in my calculator, because 44 is not a perfect square. And I get 6.63. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this one. This one is a little tricky because they're asking me for the red line, so the diagonal in that box. But so I will have to do two things, because this one, if I look at it, that can be this triangle, but I don't know that side right there. Okay, so then the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this. This is a right triangle, even though it doesn't look like it has a right angle, is because it's tilted. But if you think about a box, they will have right angles. So I'm gonna take this, because once I do this, it's basically that. Then I can figure this out, which is my hypotenuse for this triangle, but then it's gonna become the leg for that triangle with the red diagonal as a hypotenuse. Okay, so I'm gonna write what I know. So in this one, this is 40, and I know this is 10. So then I'm gonna do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I have 10 plus 40 squared equals c squared. 10 squared is 100. 40 squared is 1600 equals c squared. And then I'm gonna add them together. So that's 1700 equals c squared. Square root of that. I'm gonna leave it like that just because I know that that's not a perfect square. Okay. So now that I have that, then I can take this one right here. Okay. So I'm gonna take that one now. Okay, so this now, this leg was actually the hypotenuse. So I'm gonna write that there. And then this is 10, is the height. And I'm gonna do 10 squared plus this square equals c squared. 10 squared is 100. This one, what they're telling you is you have this. So remember we said that when you're square rooting, it's basically like if you have, that's basically c squared, right? So for every 2 that you have, you take 1 out so that you c. So in this case, you have 2 the same, so then again you end up with just that number. I add them together and then I square root it. So again, I have a opportunity maybe to leave it like that, or I can actually get that number. And this is about 42.4. That's gonna be, which is this right here. Okay. Let me go ahead and try to give you one to do on this one and see how you do. Okay, go ahead and find the red diagonal line in the box. Remember, you have to do the Pythagorean theorem twice. Get this part right here, which is going to be your hypotenuse for the lower triangle, and then get that as your leg for the right triangle. God bless you. Bye.